Welcome to the Intergalactic Academy for Gifted Warriors, a place where elven blades sing, dwarven axes crush, and orcish hammers shake the very foundations of the earth. In this esteemed institution, every student is expected to forge their own destiny and their own legendary weapon. The Academy provides the finest materials, star-forged steel, enchanted obsidian, and timber from the ancient heartwood trees. For most students, this is the first step toward greatness. They spend weeks in the forge, guided by master smiths, pouring their magic and soul into creating weapons of immense power. You see gleaming swords that can cut through shadows, axes that hum with elemental fury, and bows that never miss their mark. It's a symphony of creation, a beautiful display of talent from across the galaxy. And then, there's the human. The human student, let's call him Kevin, was given the same access to all the glorious materials. The instructors watched, curious to see what strange, brilliant weapon this newcomer from a low-tech planet would create. Would he invent some new explosive device? A kinetic energy rifle? No. Kevin looked at the piles of glowing ore and pulsating magical woods, and he just walked away. He walked right past the anvils of destiny, ignored the soul forges, and headed straight for the corner of the classroom. There he found a simple, unassuming wooden chair. It wasn't enchanted. It wasn't made of anything special. It was just a chair. While his classmates were summoning fire elementals to heat their forges and chanting ancient runes to bind magic to metal, Kevin simply flipped the chair over. With a grunt and a sudden violent crack that echoed through the workshop, he snapped one of the legs clean off. The sound was so jarringly primitive that everyone stopped what they were doing. The elven smiths paused their delicate hammering. The dwarf mid-bellow at his anvil fell silent. Everyone stared. Kevin held up the splintered chair leg. It was crude. It was jagged. But in his hands it looked purposeful. He then took out a small, standard-issue utility knife and began to shave one end of the leg into a sharp point. There was no magic, no spectacle. Just a man, a piece of wood, and a blade. Splinters flew. He worked with a focused intensity that was both baffling and a little bit intimidating. His classmates exchanged glances. Some snickered. An elven princess, polishing her impossibly elegant mithril rapier, whispered to her friend, "Is that garbage?" A burly orc, whose warhammer could probably level a small building, just scratched his head in utter confusion. He'd never seen a weapon made so fast. When the day of presentation arrived, the students lined up to showcase their creations. One by one, they presented their masterpieces. A sword that glowed with starlight. A shield that could repel any spell. A mace that returned to its owner's hand. The instructors nodded in approval, their faces filled with pride. Then it was Kevin's turn. He walked to the front, the other students parting before him, half in pity, half in morbid curiosity. He didn't have a gleaming weapon on a velvet cushion. He just held a broken piece of furniture. He planted the base of the chair leg firmly on the ground. "This," he announced, his voice steady, "is a spear." A wave of giggles rippled through the class. The head instructor, a centuries-old sorcerer with a beard down to his knees, face-palmed. He looked utterly defeated. "Son," he sighed, "we gave you access to the Forge of the Cosmos. You had star metal, dragon bone, petrified light. You chose a chair leg. Why?" Kevin's expression didn't waver. He gripped the wooden spear and gave it a few experimental thrusts. It was balanced. It was sturdy. He looked the instructor dead in the eye. "Because where I come from, you don't always have star metal and dragon bone. Sometimes all you have is a rune. And in any room, with anything in it, I can make a weapon in under 5 seconds. A sword takes weeks. This," he said, patting the spear, "is ready now. And an enemy isn't going to wait for you to finish enchanting your sword." A sudden, profound silence fell over the hall. The laughter died. The smirks vanished. The students looked at their own complex, beautiful weapons that took so long to create, and then back at the human with his instant spear. They saw not a fool with a stick, but a pragmatist, a survivor. A warrior who understood a fundamental truth they had all forgotten. The best weapon isn't the one that's most powerful. It's the one you have in your hand when the fight starts. The old instructor stared at Kevin, his expression shifting from exasperation to a slow, dawning respect. He looked at the crude chair leg, then at the unwavering confidence in the human's eyes. He finally picked up his quill and, on Kevin's evaluation form, wrote a single, glowing word. Exceptional. Because in a galaxy full of magic and wonder, sometimes the most terrifying and impressive thing of all is simple, brutal, human ingenuity. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from across the cosmos. See you next time.